commission made such an extensive review of the POA Act so far. And he's a retired justice, not at the Supreme Court, High Court level, even at the very lower level, but before the retirement he worked some time with the High Court. But it has also brought, because he's not only the judiciary, but he's also closely associated with the civil society and also an ideologue on the Ambedkar issues, on the ideology, and he also navigated both the challenges and the way forward. That became a more or like a benchmark. And my suggestion would be, people, please do read the Justice Punaya Committee report, which is available. And with that experience, when I moved to Delhi, that time I was working with NCDHR, a lot of complaints that we received from the various state chapters. I went to two commissions. One is the particular SC Commission and the Scheduled Caste Commission for the Safai Culture. And I do not want to put the names against this because I don't want to drag anybody inside. But the issue is, when we put, I could not meet the chairperson, but we met the other members of the commission. And out of these two, one commission member, in fact, he said to me, okay, that's good, you people are working as a civil society. Oh, ye hamara kaam hai, aap kyun kar rahe? I said, oh, sir, ठीक है, but we are bringing these issues, but आप करना चाहिए. He said, no, हम करेगा, ये काम करो, आप एक और मुद्दे पे आप काम करना चाहिए. सर, बताओ सर. He said, see, वो members है ना, वो members को सब लोगों को क्या है ये state ministership वो that you demand for the rank of the state ministers, और only chairperson का वो मिल रहा, ऐसा नहीं है, ऐसा करना चाहिए. Or then, of course, then you can understand the nature of the discussion. Then I said, okay, that's fine, sir, that's important, but I wish you will tell us much more problems related to what kind of problems you are facing, but not so much the issue. I can understand there is an issue of resources, what it is, but not the issue of resources. We are talking about the facilities being enjoyed by the member. And it struck me very hard. I really was so pained at that point of time. Of course, we did confront, saying that I think we should look for a day, none of us will be having this as a job. We should look for a day where we close this. We no longer require. But somehow, the journey was becoming much that we are so comfortable with sitting these positions, continue to do the work, but not of much effectiveness. So in that context, I thought when I'm reading this report, maybe something must have changed. Can we look into that? A lot of curiosity. But friends, I think it's almost sufficiently written here. And I think the problem is much systemic. I could see it's like a scandal, which I don't think that we can tolerate. Such a powerful institutions we created. The beauty in SC Commission is it has a constitutional mandate, unlike the other commissions. That's an important aspect. It's a powerful, because you are originating from the Article 33, 38. That's the beauty of that. Second, it has a quasi-judicial powers. It can summon. It's much more powerful when you compare with any other commissions or the bodies that we created, which is quite an important aspect, having that quasi-judicial authority where you can look into that. But the whole aspect, the committee, the report looked into the whole setup, the appointment, the transparency, and the what kind of technical support that exists, and the issues of financial resources, and the location and its linkages. I think somehow you see there is some kind of a challenges in the whole process in which it is putting. The interesting part of Vijayananji with us, even in a state like Bihar, the commission was created out of an executive order rather than through a legislature, which I think quite an important dimension. We need to see maybe Vijayananji उस time पे वो भी थोड़ा touch करना चाहिए वो issue पे आपको कोई challenge है नहीं है. And the major role is in terms of the role playing as a watchdog. Very important, watchdog. So when you say watchdog, you should not just watch. You need to bark at the right time. But the problem here, whether we are barking at the right time is an issue that need to be looked into that. Nature of complaint, very interesting. I said most of the complaint which the report examined is almost like a last resort. People are reaching to the SC Commission when the other formal procedures fail. I think there's a maturity in terms of the community, the way they are engaging with the SC Commission. It's good that people are seeing this. Okay, if nothing is happening, you can reach out to SC Commission. That's good. There's a hope. But the dispensation or the way in which the complaints are dealt, it's a mixed reaction. We are not getting an inspiring story out of that, with a few exceptions always there. I think when you change the system, there are good practices, there are also bad or challenging practices. This report bringing both the dimensions. And the key important in this SC Commission is to bring the annual report, where the National Commission is supposed to bring the annual report and present it before the Parliament through the Presidential Office, and the state level you are expected to submit the report. But with I think when you go through the report, 9, 10 is somewhere you see uniformly the reports are available. After that is conspicuously missing. And if you come to the national level SC Commission, reports presented, not presented before the Parliament. So that reports are somewhere staying in the racks. But it comes to the question, how far what? When you have such a mandatory reporting requirement, some commissions fail to produce any report, and some commissions did once in a while, but still that's not there. And the issue of convergence, very interesting point, the report raised it is. You have other commissions, you have the judicial process, you have a quasi-judicial authority, but how we are engaging with other processes, somehow I think it become a special island and dealing with its own, how it is interacting with the Human Rights Commission, how it is interacting with the Women's Commission, or the minority commissions. And that I think that's an issue which this report has brought out. We need to look into that. And the second mandate, apart from the composition, the report also looked into the issue of how they're reviewing the efficacy of the programs, develop the programs of the governments, either at the state government or the national level. I do not know, but I think the report could not tell us exactly whether any commissions has actually reviewed the programs of the state or the national level and able to give recommendations to the government. We have not come across. I think that's an important dimension in the recent past. If it's an exception, I think we can hear. An advisory role in terms of promoting the rights, the issue of social justice, where it can actually look into the different level. I think Paul is with us, and also the other people can bring, where the civil society is struggling to bring the amendments to the Prevention of Atrocities Act, POA Act, and you are demanding for the special legislation for the SCP and the TSP. Perhaps when I read the report, the composition, I thought maybe this is the mandate of the SC commissions. They should have been leading this whole discourse of demanding this legislature, but you also see the silence of it. I think that somewhere we need to understand what is this silence means. Therefore, the question that comes, is there any good practice that exists to learn from these three reports and the national level processes? Maybe perhaps practitioners, during when we open the floor for discussion, we want to hear, do we have any good experiences? Certainly the members can also bring what are the good experiences in. The core issue that the report also raised is issues of the accountability. I think that's an issue which we need to look at it. On paper, it looks quite good, but how much in practice that accountability is there? I think that's an issue which we need to look, because we want these institutions to function effectively. It needs to be vibrant, responsive. I think therefore we need to look at those issues. The question that will come is, do we need to watch these watchdogs? You're a watchdog, so therefore why you need someone else to watch? But perhaps the status of affairs certainly calling for to become a watchdog. I think this report is a process towards that. So therefore, who will do that? How often? What we need to look at? That's an area where we look. Maybe the much more teasing question I want to put before the panel, maybe Vijayananji as well as Paul, what will happen if we don't have these commissions? I'm trying to put a little bit of a teasing question. Do we going to lose anything? Is there any vacuum that's going to create? I don't know, but maybe the experts are here. let us see how this process will be there. So, friends, I think the report has almost touched very sensitively and almost in a way very not hurting too much, in that sense very positively written, but perhaps maybe sometimes we need to have a little more blunt talk. But nevertheless, a very, very good attempt, and I'm sure the recommendations are very, very clear, which I think perhaps some other the recommendation, if it comes from the floor, that we can take it forward. So friends, I think before I invite the other members in the morning, in fact, I tried to call, okay, if this is the report of Bihar or the UP and MP, I try to call a couple of organizations working in Rajasthan, AP, and also the couple of other states. I checked with them, what is your experience of it? But interestingly, I have not received a positive feedback from other states as well. They said it's becoming a much more like a post box. What we do get, at least one state they have said in Rajasthan, they said is, we do get acknowledgement. Beyond that, we are not expecting anything because it's not happening into that. So somewhere I think the whole issue of complaint processing, how they are doing that. The second question, I think another point the report has made, most of the complaints, apart from the issues of discrimination, is related to the land. Almost in Bihar, जमीन पे almost 17% complaints वो जमीन पर कब्जा कर दिया, ऐसा this level of complaints that are coming up. But we have not seen in terms of evidence of that deep-rooted issue of land alienation, land grabbing was sufficiently addressed, where you have the quasi-judicial functions. I think these are all the broad area which we need to look at into that. But as we move forward, let us also focus on how do we can strengthen, including asking the basic questions. If we don't see those basic changes or reforms into the process of the functioning of these institutions, what else, how we can move forward?